Okay, Chef, so we're just moving on with some great conversations here. I'm learning so much, as you were saying before about getting to know the group and also incorporating all the senses, the smell, the taste. I remember being taught this years ago that if you hold your nose when you're eating, that you really dull the taste of the food. But in the sensory work that I'm doing, this is what was interesting to me, that if you go into a liquor store, for example, and you hear a song from Paris, you're more inclined to buy a French wine.
Interesting.
If you have a choice in front of you. Or, for example, last month I went out to eat in Little Italy in New York, and we were in an Italian restaurant, but Gypsy Kings was playing on the music, and I said to the waitress, can't you put on something from the Amalfi Coast? Like listening to Spanish music, eating Italian food, and then I read that it actually does affect the taste of the food.
It doesn't make sense.
You're hearing one thing and it doesn't make sense. Exactly.
Yes.
So I'd love to ask you this, like what your thoughts are for the future. Like where do you see the trends that are happening right now, and what are you doing in terms of the trends that you see and applying them to your new menus? You said you have 2 menus a year that you design for Convene, and where are you taking them?
Well, what I added to my menus now, and we call this enhancements.
Okay.
What we do is called live stations.
Okay.
And one of the things that I did, one of them, I call it New York Street Fair.
Okay.
And from the New York Street Fair, I have a Hong Kong noodle station, where a chef's out there preparing with 3 different types of noodles. Salads to order. You can either do shrimp if they want shrimp, because we don't do it, but in case they request it. We do tuna, and then we do a chicken. And then we also have another station called the poke station. We do salmon poke or tuna poke.
Okay.
So it's going again with the trend thing.
Right.
Poke bowls is like the most amazing,
biggest thing, right?
Amazing thing going on right now. I see poke bowl restaurants opening left and right, and it makes sense. People want something quick, flavorful, also good for you and healthy.
Exactly.
And of course, like I said, everyone watches what they're eating. They don't want to go out there and have a greasy cheeseburger. They want something flavorful.
Not in front of anyone, anyway.
Hey, I throw one down anytime.
Me too.
But yeah, with that saying, it's like we go beyond on what we do normal and add different things like these live stations that can also enhance the experience of keeping up to on the trend. Like we did a chicken and waffle station.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we did fresh waffles, and we did chicken, and like people come by, and we give them a piece of waffle with the chicken. We make our own gravy, and of course we did a chile, which is pasilla chile spiced maple syrup.
Nice.
So we did that on top. Then the other day I was doing a smoked short rib. So I had a smoker, and I was smoking short rib in a slider to order.
Oh, nice.
So we enhance the experience, and also keeping on the trends. Not getting too much into the molecular, which, all that trend's been happening for the past 15 years, but it's something in that experience that, like I said, people eat with their eyes. So give them that with the visuals of the smoking, the smell, the senses, right? Same with the waffles. One of the most amazing smells out there is the fresh waffle.
Oh my gosh! Oh, and there's nothing like a fresh waffle.
But the taste with a spicy piece of chicken, and of course the spicy maples. Yeah, it's all these different components.
But you're also bringing up, which is of course the catchword nowadays, which is all about experience. So it's the setting up the food stations and having that interaction with the person, because people want to ask you questions about it.
And also customizing menus for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everyone wants to eat what you're doing, right? So if somebody who has a preference for something different, I will do whatever I can to make sure to provide them. And that's what nowadays people, like I said, they want to know what they're eating, or they have something specifically that they like, that they'll tell you about it, and that's how you come up. For example, I did that menu the other night for an Italian group, and then basically what they did wanted me to do a customized Italian menu from the first, second, third course all the way through the wine. And we did. We paired it up, and the fantastic reviews from them.
So, I mean, because Italian is Italian, but of course Italian is red sauce or not.
Yeah.
Right? So did you mix it up with the regions of Italy, or did you keep it all
burrata,
one?
of course. We can't go wrong with burrata. I did a panzanella.
Nice.
So nice little stale bread with nice vinegar soaked in, beautiful herbs, and of course the tomatoes that they wanted. So basically, did that for them for the first course. The second course, I did a cacciatore. So basically,
Nice.
what I did a braised chicken
Right.
in this beautiful garlic tomato sauce, like a pomodoro.
Okay, nice.
And then with the fresh herbs, we did a creamy polenta. They loved it. And of course, asparagus. And then we did a pomme tart, they called it. It's basically like a we did it with pine nuts, but traditionally it's done with pistachio. It's like
beautiful.
almost like how do you call that? And a financier, like a
Yes.
like a French
Yes,
financier.
nice, beautiful.
But it's round, beautiful with the pine nuts on top. But it's usually done with pistachios. And we did a little bit of a chantilly sauce, and we did a raspberry sauce with that as
isn't
well.
that nice?
But with that being said, it's how we do things, how we go out of our way to make sure that the experience that they're looking for is given to them.
Is given. I was in Italy a couple of months ago, and I just ate my way through those few days. I have to tell you, I think I ate pasta 3 times a day, and I'm not afraid to admit it either because it was so fabulous. But so with the trends that we've been just speaking about, as you were bringing out, is use local,
Yes.
and support local, which I think is becoming more the norm than the exception to the norm,
and
right?
sustainability.
And sustainability,
Yeah.
and the concept of fresh, the concept of engagement, the concept of experience, and of course with your background, you are always adding unexpected spice to the whole thing, right?
Absolutely.
But so here's my question: what keeps Chef Villatoro inspired?
Add more chilies.
No, no, but where do you get your inspiration from?
I get it from always going out, and I'm going out and seeing the new trends that are happening, and I get inspired from farms. I was just in Chicago. I did a competition out there for IAC, and basically we did a tour of an organic greens farm. We did a tour of a butchery or a cattle, pork, and chicken farm.
Okay.
And they provided to the fine dining restaurants in New York City. I'm sorry, in Chicago. And basically, I was impressed how everyone in Chicago is doing the same thing we're doing here, but everybody is like everywhere you go, everyone's doing this, and everybody wants to know where it's coming from, or how the cattle is raised, or how's the chicken, if it's free range or if it's in the cage, those kind of things. What really inspired me also is the research behind it. Like I went to Portland, Maine, for example. Incredible food.
Yeah, I've heard.
And everyone's so passionate about what they do and what they serve and where it's coming from.
Just to put this into for anyone who doesn't understand what IAC, so International Association of Conference Centers.
Conference centers,
and,
yes.
and IAC is one of the global leaders in that 1% of conference centers that are the very unique conference centers that meet very demanding palates.
Absolutely.
I know because I'm involved with IAC to a certain point where they might have the log cabin retreat or the villa in Germany or convene in New York, right?
Right.
So it's a very prestigious organization that leads the industry, and because the conference centers have discerning guests and discerning attendees, food is absolutely critical.
It is
to their success. So you're being involved, and it's interesting because, like you say, it's a global movement of awareness that is so wonderful with it. So your inspiration comes from the farms. Your inspiration, I think you even mentioned to me you like to go out every now and then.
Yeah, going out. It's definitely, from the food movements, all these great restaurants in New York are always opening.
Right.
You got Estella, which is Michelin star, Then I went to the Musket Room, and, my wife actually was so amazing, and that got me into 11 Madison Park for my birthday.
That's a good wife.
I know, right? But those are kind of things I like to do. I like to keep my culinary juices flowing. I like to see what other chefs are doing. I like to see what's in trending, if it works in my environment. I think we're all amazing. Chefs are always amazing. I don't have any negative things to say about chefs. I think we all have a different palate, and we all cook differently. And that's why I love tasting other people's food. Don't get me wrong. I love cooking, but getting someone else to cook
To
for
cook
me
for
is
you?
amazing.
You know what, Chef? That's one thing we share in common.
I know, right?
Someone can cook for me anytime. Anyway,
I love
thank
it.
you so much for
Well, thank
sharing
you,
that,
yeah.
the trends, and adding a little spice to your life, right?
Absolutely.
Is your secret
That's
ingredient.
it. Put some
Anyway,
chilies in it.
I look forward to working with you in the future, and thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right.